I just thought it'd be an opportunity to start the new year in talking with you about last year
Yeah,
and what your racing season was like and how you felt about it and how you've grown um, throughout the year. Certainly, we've learned a lot about racing. And
yeah, for sure.
so I'll let you drive this, as it were, a little bit and tell us what you thought of 2018, and maybe you can touch a little bit on where you think you're going in 2019.
2018 was an up and down year. We started pretty good and then fell off right towards the middle of the year. And then at the end of the year, we ended up coming back up to where I thought we finished off the year pretty strong. Most of our late model races were fairly good last year. We won one race and we ran top five in multiple races. We did pretty good at Myrtle Beach, and then we actually led our first laps in the Arca series where you were at Indy, and that was pretty cool to run more competitive in the Arca series. Was a lot more fun. And I think overall last year, me and my team grew a lot closer as a whole, and we grew a lot better. They learned a little bit more about what I like. I learned a little bit more about how they adjust the cars, and a little bit more about how they all work together and who works together good. I think overall last year was a really, really good learning year for us to go out and put it to use in 2019.
You know, the two races I went to Pocono, and then I went to the Indy race. They were exciting, certainly for me, to be in the pits and watching you do your thing. I still remember you passing 25 pretty aggressively, and I really liked that. when you
Yeah,
when it
yeah,
gets
we
tight like that.
yeah we learned a lot. We had good cars last year, but we were always around eighth to 10th, I would say, in the Arca series, and so those are pretty close positions, and so you're fighting for every position, and I mean everywhere you're fighting for every position all over the track. So we did a lot of close racing last year, and then at Pocono was my first super speedway, my first big track, and it didn't turn out quite as planned,
Yeah,
but my team rallied around me and kept me up, and it was still fun nevertheless. But
yeah. No, of course. Just being in that particular experience. Now, tell me, you know, it was really exciting when you got that opportunity to drive car number 9. Can you tell me about that race?
yeah, so that race actually came about because my crew chief had been wanting to race a car, and Grumpy, we built him a car. We took him to the beach, biggest race of the year for the limited late models. And he runs both practices, and he says, guys, I can't do it. Somebody else is going to have to step in. I can't run tonight. So I said, I'll drive it. And so my first lap,
Drives a car, Thad?
he was driving that race.
Oh, I didn't know he still drove.
Yeah, he was driving just that race. And so he stepped out and I stepped in. And so I qualified the car and we started on the pole. And then we ended up leading, I think, every lap but 2 laps that whole race. But it was a phenomenal car that night. And it just shows you it was a brand new car, built very well. And it just shows you how good my team is for us to be able to go out there and set on the pole and lead every lap except for 2 in a race is pretty good.
Yeah, I was following that on Facebook, and I was a bit confused because normally, you know, you're in 46, you're not in number 9, and my brain was all scrambled.
Yeah, 46 is more my number because I'm trying to kind of carry on the family legacy because great grandfather Lee started in 42 and then grandpa was 43 and then Uncle Kyle was 44 and Adam was 45. So I'm trying to carry on to be in 46, carry on the legacy.
Wonderful. So then he races then Grumpy as number 9. That's what his car is?
He was racing just as one race. He was just racing one race
Oh,
before
okay.
he was coming out of retirement, racing one race just for fun. And I ended up running the race for him because he backed out right after second practice.
So you happened to be there, obviously.
Yeah, with my team. I was there with my team, and it was fun. Good thing I was because it was a fun night.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's kind of nice to tag you in and away you go. So 2019, I've got the 2019 Arca schedule. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at that. Have
Yeah.
you, have you looked at that in a little bit of detail?
Oh yeah.
Have you have you thought about which races you're going to? Or are you gonna do you have
We're
enough sponsors to make them all? Or
we're starting the season off at Daytona,
okay,
and then we have 4 more races as of right now that are sold, but we don't know which 4 yet because the sponsor will be Performance Plus for those other 4 races and at Daytona, but they haven't chose which races they would like to do yet.
okay. So for sure, that's February the 9th, is it?
Yes.
And Daytona, that's obviously I haven't been to that one. That's obviously in Florida. Uh,
Yes, sir.
that is it a nice track?
It is that weekend there, or the following weekend is the Daytona 500, which is like NASCAR's Super Bowl.
Okay.
So NASCAR starts off their season with the Super Bowl instead of the ending the season with the Super Bowl, which would be the Daytona 500. My grandfather won it 7 times, and great grandpa won it 3, I think, and then Uncle Kyle actually won his very first ARCA race at Daytona. So there's a lot to live up to at that track. A lot of family history. It's going to be really good for me and my team to get the 46 out there on that track, and it's just going to be an awesome experience.
Well, I gotta see if I can try and make that. That sounds like I'm going to be down in Florida. I'm going to be up in the Tampa area on the 10th. Maybe I can change my flight, leave out a little earlier.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be a good time if you come.
Yeah, Daytona. Okay. So then you're going to have another 4 for sure. You just don't know which ones.
Not know which ones yet. Yeah,
Okay.
but we will let everyone know as we know. And there's still more possibility with 2 months till the season, or really only 1 month now till the season starts, to gain a few more races, get a few more sponsors for a couple races here and there. But we're probably going to go part time again in the ARCA series in that late model.
So the key is getting more sponsors. Do you have any words for them?
I want to thank all the sponsors that I have now, and then let everyone know still that we have more opportunities to sell a few more races in the ARCA series and late model series, and just to help me further my career. And it all helps. So just thank my sponsors that I have now: Alsco, Performance Plus, Fence Armor, Transportation Impact, Hosteller Ranches, and Miller Welders and Bilstein Shocks. I want to thank all of them for everything they do for my career.
Well, that's super. I know certainly a lot of the groups who follow you on Facebook are, well, they're loyal fans. I can tell you that they love you, and I'm on that group as well. And it's nice to see how you're progressing, and hopefully they'll get a chance to look at this. I know one of their questions is always, "What races are you going to be in?"
Yeah.
And I don't always know myself, and neither do you. That also,
Um,
do you know what late model races will you be racing in that series as well?
yeah, late model, we race at Myrtle Beach. I think the Icebreaker is our first race, and that's at Myrtle Beach. And then we have there's 2 in March, and I think we'll run them both. And then after that, we're still on the fence of what we're going to run. We'll probably make a schedule up here in the next couple of weeks, and we'll get it out whenever we make the schedule up. But once we hear back for what races Performance Plus wants to run, we'll be able to decide a schedule.
Well, that's super. It's nice. Performance Plus is the main sponsor, and that's really commendable. We're really encouraged by what you're doing. We've got big plans in 2019 ourselves, and hopefully we'll continue to renew our relationship with you, maybe even in a deeper way, and help you find even some more sponsors. We're still working on that.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it greatly.
Yeah, I think that would be fantastic. So Daytona, on the 9th of February. That's it should be on everybody's radar. We should we obviously be on the groups. Is there any forums that we can follow you on, or at Petty's Garage?
Um,
What's your idea?
Thad Moffitt Racing on Facebook is where you follow me. Moffitt_Thad on Instagram, and then Thad Moffitt on Twitter is where you follow all of my stuff. And actually my diecast just came out today, so if y'all want to give those, check those out and see if you can get a couple of them from Lionel. And then follow Petty's Garage pages. So Petty's Garage on Facebook, and then Petty's Garage on Instagram, and Petty's Garage on Twitter, and then you can find out what's going on in the racing world with my career.
Wonderful. You said you had new die-casts released of your 46 car?
So die-casts were released today of the 46 car, and Plan B Sales has them, Lionel has them. I think a lot of the die-cast companies have them, and if you just go to my Twitter or if you go on Instagram, but Twitter's probably the easiest place to find it. And I retweeted where they had put out the diecast.
Wonderful. So what scale is it?
124 scale.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
124th. And is it the Chevy or is it the Ford?
It's the Ford. Because I raced the Ford more last year and the year before. So Chevy, my first race with a Chevy was actually Indy, and then I'll run a Chevy again for probably most of 2019.
And that's really just the shell, right? Because both your Ford and your Chevy had what, 350s in them?
It's the Ilmore engine.
Okay.
396, I think, but it's the Ilmore engine, and it is most of the Arca cars now in the series to be competitive run the Ilmore engine, and then they have just came out with a new package for the truck series to run Ilmore engines as well. But all of us have about the same horsepower, about the same motor, and it's a GM product. It's a GM product. The only difference in our cars is the chassis and the body. Yeah.
Okay, so it is a GM. Well, it's a block, a GM block, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so that would be the shell. Just as a side point, whether it's a Toyota or Ford, that's just the outside shell.
Yeah, not the motors are all the same in all three cars.
Okay, and what? Just out of curiosity, what makes a team pick a Chevy body or a Ford body or a Toyota body?
Well, I don't know. Some teams in the series have support from that manufacturer. I know that Venturini's has always been Toyota. They've been with Toyota for a very long time. We have just recently switched from Ford to Chevrolet. And I know Chad Bryant Racing, Cunningham, has always been Ford as long as I've been in the series. And Wintron was a Toyota, and they switched to a Chevrolet, I think. But a lot of us have it's just preference, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, I always wondered why certain teams pick certain bodies when in fact the engines are, GM products anyway, GM engines. I just was curious how that happened.
Well, most of it is manufacturer driven. So if Toyota was to contact us, then I'm sure we would have a Toyota body or something like that. But most of it is manufacturer backed, because a lot of the kids that drive for maybe Venturini or MDM have Toyota support behind them.
I see. Now tell me, back again, another curiosity question, back when Grandpa was driving Richard Petty, when he was driving the Plymouths, were things different back then? Were they Plymouth motors? Were all the motors and chassis related?
He actually built his motors in house. So he had a Hemi motor, and because of him, we now have engine rules.
Okay.
So he had a brother named Timmy Petty, and Timmy could build the baddest motor, and Maurice could build the baddest motor, and he built a Hemi one year, and they went to Daytona. And and they were too fast. And NASCAR said, "You can't run a Hemi motor." And so Grandpa said, "Okay." And he loaded his car up and he went drag racing for a year, and then he came back again, and they actually had where he was able to run whatever they built. But they made a bunch of rules because of, I guess, him and Earnhardt. All their error created where they built stuff that was getting out of hand, I guess. So now all the cars are fairly equal in every series.
I guess that's good and bad. You know, if you can build an engine and you can race it and it's better than everybody else's, I think that's one of the more exciting pieces of the game, you know.
For sure.
But, you know, I guess by the same token, if everybody has the same motor, then now we're playing off the ability of the driver and the team as a whole, as opposed to just a car.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. I don't know if you have any other thoughts for 2019, but we are honored to be your sponsor, and we support you wholeheartedly. We're looking forward to a great year, and we'll be at as many races as we possibly can to cheer you on. Yeah,
I appreciate it greatly, and thank you a lot for everything you do for me, and thank you to all the fans for everything they do for my career. It wouldn't be the same sport without them. And then just excited to get going in 2019, starting off at Daytona. It's going to be a big year for us, I think.
Yeah, you got a month to go.
Yep, can't wait.
All right, young man. Take care, Thad. Good to talk to you, and thanks for all your time today.
All right, thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.